Hi everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, one of the things that politicians do is they go on junkets. They take trips to foreign countries, usually on someone else's dime, and usually that is a corporation or some fat cats who are trying to buy their votes. And they believe that making these trips burnishes their foreign policy credibility. That somehow visiting a country makes you an expert on it. Well, I've traveled all over the world, and it hasn't taught me anything about foreign policy. I've seen the sights, met some of the people, and learned a little bit about different cultures, but foreign policy is complicated. You can learn a lot more from doing a lot of reading, and I mean a lot of reading, than you can from visiting the Eiffel Tower. Right now, the RNC is going to Israel. They're going to spend 9 days there on a trip sponsored by the American Family Association. Now, this group has nothing to do with families. It is, in essence, a hate group. Its most famous spokesperson is Brian Fisher, who has said that only Christians have the right to practice their religion in the United States. But this did not deter Reince Priebus, the head of the RNC, from signing up with this group. So the RNC is going to Israel with a group that believes that Jews should be forcibly converted to Christianity here in the U.S. It's kind of surprising that this has not received anywhere near the news coverage it deserves. The fact that the RNC is openly in bed with a Christian white supremacist hate group should be getting all kinds of coverage by the media, but it's not. But it hasn't escaped the notice of the Israeli press. Haaretz and the Times of Israel have published articles critical of the RNC and this trip. The American Jewish outlets like the Daily Jewish Forward have also given it some coverage. Now, usually when politicians travel to Israel, they are trying to get votes and the support of the American Jewish community. But going there with the AFA is not likely to turn on these voters. It's more likely to turn them off. Now, the AFA, hoping to diffuse the criticism, released a statement saying that Fisher had been fired from his position as the AFA's director of issue analysis. But that firing doesn't mean anything. He still has his radio show that is sponsored by this group. So the firing means nothing. Leading the group will be Pastor David Lane, who has said that America is a Christian nation founded for the purpose of the advancement of the Christian faith. I doubt that will play well in Israel either. It will be interesting to see what kind of response the RNC gets upon their arrival. Israel has an election coming up, and I don't think that any of their politicians that are trying to get reelected are going to want to be seen with Lane, and no American should either. David Lane has actually made statements calling for Christians to commit acts of terrorism here in the United States. He has said that Christian believers should wage war to restore Christian America through acts of Christian martyrdom that would force Americans to either accept Jesus or begin drinking holy blood. Now that sounds to me like a Christian version of ISIS. If a Muslim said what Lane did, he would be sitting in a cell in Guantanamo, not going to Israel with the Republican National Committee. Lane predicted car bombings in America because homosexuals were allowed to pray at the inauguration of President Obama. By the way, Reince Priebus, Ted Cruz, Sarah Palin, and Rand Paul have all participated in blessing ceremonies performed by the AFA. So it is official that many of the leaders of the Republican Party are part of a right-wing, extremist, religious, terrorist group. Thanks for listening.